The first activity that we did together was one of the most important aspects of economics and very foundational. It's the idea of scarcity and the idea of choice. And so one of the things that we hit on as the activity was coming to an end was that we have unlimited wants, but we have limited resources. So the example that we did together was about a dialysis machine in a hospital that could only run for a certain amount of time every single day. And that meant that in this example, not every single person in this community could be served, and they had to go elsewhere to find treatment. And this is an example that shows the idea of scarcity, and it shows the idea of choice. Scarcity is the principle in economics where there are limited resources. And so, for example, of the dialysis machine, the limited resource was the machines themselves and time. Because we couldn't run the machines every single day of every single week forever, we were limited to a number of hours that we could use the machines per week. And so that is an example of scarcity. Other examples of scarcity and limited resources that we often think about a lot are natural resources like water or oil. And those will eventually run out, and we have scarcity in that example. Maybe not in our lifetime, but in future lifetimes as well. And for some people, that is a reality today. An example of scarcity. But the other example of scarcity as it relates to, resources is time, money, energy. You don't have unlimited amounts of time in the day to do everything that you would like to do. You have limited number of hours per day, and you can't stay up for 24 hours every single day because you will get sick and you will not be functioning. And as a result of that, you will not be able to maximize your time when you are awake because you're so tired. Money is a limited resource for most individuals, for almost all individuals, where you have a limited amount of money that you then have to decide how to use, which comes to the second principle, which is over choice. Choice is important to know about because we do make choices every single day. We make choices about how to use our time. We make choices about how to use our money. We make choices about how to use our natural resources like water. Do we leave the water on when we are brushing our teeth? Do we choose to buy a car that uses more gas, that uses more of a limited resource? Do we make choices about the time that we use? Do we make choices about whether or not we're going to go study or whether or not we're going to watch TV or play video games, right? We are always making choices in our lives, which leads us to the definition of economics, which is economics is the study of people, you and me, and our choices, what we use to decide, what we decide to do with limited resources, scarcity. We have unlimited wants, but we have limited resources. Okay? So what economists would say is that we have unlimited wants, but we have limited means. And so we cannot buy anything that we want. We cannot make time for every single thing. We have to make choices. So scarcity and choice are highlighted and reflected in this activity. But one thing that we're going to do, and one thing that we will continue to do, is we will look at how does scarcity and choice play out in our daily lives. So when we come back together for group A on Monday and for group B on Tuesday, we're going to talk through at the beginning of class what are some examples of scarcity and choice that we see play out in our daily lives. I've given you a couple, but I want you to think about over the weekend, what are some things that are scarce in your life, and how are you making choices about those scarce resources? To move along, we're going to talk a little bit now about the flow of the course a little bit more. I mentioned this when we talked about our syllabus, that the lectures would be recorded online. And this is one of them. This is the first one about scarcity and choice. We're going to transition now into economic structures. And what we're going to do over the course of the next couple of days is we're going to read both the Communist Manifesto and the Wealth of Nations, which is a foundational economic structure primary source documents. And these documents will help us kind of flesh out what communism and capitalism set out to do, and how each individual country has a blend between those two economic structures, where not one of them falls into one of each category, but we have pieces of both. And so what's going to happen is that you're going to have a lecture that you're going to watch after this one and take notes on over Karl Marx, Frederick Engels, and Adam Smith. And I will record this in conjunction with some notes that I'd like you to take down on your own time. For Group A, you will have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to watch these lectures. Group B, you will have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to watch these lectures and to do the reading over the Communist Manifesto. When we come together on Monday for Group A and on Tuesday for Group B, we are going to discuss the readings, and I want you to spend some time reading them. So spend some time Sunday night when you would normally do your homework and read it. For Group B, I want you to spend Monday reading all about Karl Marx and Frederick Engels in their own words. For Group A, I want you to spend Friday and Sunday. So take 2 days to look at these readings, annotate them however you want. But what I want you guys to look at is I want you to look at two things. Number one, how does Marx and Engels and Adam Smith, how do they describe humanity? That's pretty foundational to their works, is how they describe human beings. Number two, what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to then look at what do both of these people say about the role of government. So those are the two questions that we're going to discuss together that I'd like for you to have prepared for Monday, if you're in Group A, or Tuesday, if you're in Group B. We will have a short quiz over the PowerPoint and the lecture, so this lecture and the next lecture, on Monday and Tuesday for whoever is in Group A and for whoever is in Group B, respectively. So please watch this video again if you have any more questions, and what you need to write down is about scarcity and choice. What are some examples of scarcity and choice that you see play out in your daily life? And then second, what I want you to do is I want you to look at the Communist Manifesto and the Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. The Wealth of Nations is by Adam Smith, and the Communist Manifesto is by Frederick Engels and Karl Marx. And then watch the lecture. One thing that may be helpful is for you to read it first time, then watch the lecture, and then read it a second time. But I do want you to look at those two questions, and I would like for you to read it twice for the quiz that will be on Monday for Group A, Tuesday for Group B. Have an awesome weekend. See you guys later.